and I call Mr Nelson McCausland. Mr McCausland.
Mr Speaker, I am rise to congratulate David Ford on his appointment today as the Minister for Justice. I look forward to seeing him at the executive meetings and to working with him in that capacity. As a party, we believe that devolution of justice is good for Northern Ireland, but we also believe that it's a position that carries with it certain additional sensitivity. It's not just an ordinary ministerial position, and therefore it was important that whoever was appointed today had cross-community support, and I think that that has been well demonstrated already. Yes, it is argued by some people that it was not done by the D'Hunt system, but then we're not wedded to the D'Hunt system. There are others who might argue that it's moving away from the Belfast Agreement, but again, that's not something that is going to cause us any difficulty. I think the difficulties have arisen for certain other parties, and I think particularly of the way in which the Ulster Unionist Party argued very strongly that the appointment should be made by the D'Hunt system, and therefore that it should go to the SDLP. It was therefore rather strange, having heard that from the Ulster Unionists, to hear the next argument last August from their party leader, who to say many Unionists would be very concerned that our first Justice Minister could be someone who is not pro-union. So, having argued that it should be given to someone who is a nationalist, he then argued against giving it to someone who was a nationalist, and therefore today the Ulster Unionist Party ended up sitting down and not voting when they had the opportunity to vote for the nationalist that they were previously arguing for. Well, if that is Unionist leadership, then it's no wonder that they are in the state that they're in today. As regards the position of the SDLP, the point was put forward very forcibly by a number of their folk, but particularly, of course, by their leader in her speech, to argue that why would anybody not vote for Alban McGuinness? Well, let me just give you two reasons. One is a very general political one, and the other is a very particular political one. The first is that we could not vote for Alban McGuinness because of the continuing support of the SDLP for an issue that gets right to the heart of policing and justice, and that is the 50-50 recruitment in policing, which is a policy that discriminates against those in the Protestant and Unionist community. And it is that discriminatory approach of the SDLP that is the general political issue. The more particular one was the fact that in my own constituency, when there was a situation in the Torrens estate, where as a result of intimidation and ethnic cleansing, an entire Protestant community were put out of their homes, Alban McGuinness described the vacant houses as a windfall site for nationalists. A windfall is something that is good for you. It is something that is not good if it is a case of people being driven out of their homes. And that sort of sectarian comment to say that housing would become available for nationalists because Unionists had been driven out, that's the sort of reason why we couldn't vote for Alban McGuinness.